Welcome to this DaVinci Resolve Fusion node breakdown. Today's node is the Ribbon 3D node. So we're going to jump into Fusion, and I'm going to do this a little differently. Normally I bring it in and show you how to input it, but for you to be able to see this Ribbon 3D, we're going to have to go over some troubleshooting stuff first for you to be able to see it, because you might put it in there and wonder why it's not working. So the Ribbon 3D node, all it does is it generates an array of subdivided lines. So you can see here. And this scene setup is just a shape. It's a plane in the background, the spotlight, ambient light, camera. And I've got our ribbon with a transform on it because the Ribbon 3D does not have any transform for the overall shape. So, and what I meant by you might not be able to see this is because technically this ribbon node is not supposed to work when you have your render set up under software render. So you shouldn't be able to see these lines, but you can see, I can see them, and I'm on software render. It's supposed to operate under hardware render. But if you notice, once I change it to hardware render, I no longer see my lines. But this is where it's supposed to work. But there seems to be a little glitch, because if I go down here and enable my accumulation effects, and if you remember right, this is for our depth of field stuff. If I enable it, I can see them again. And I can change my depth of field on that as well. But if I set this to 0.0001, it'll show up under the hardware render, which is good because if we need to change the depth of field on this, we can use this to see it. But I'm going to go ahead and run this in the software mode. And I'm going to turn that off. So just remember, if you're running your render type as hardware renderer, make sure you're enabling your accumulation effects so you can see it. And your computer may or may not work under software render, but mine apparently does, even though this node is not supposed to work under software render. Anyway, the Ribbon 3D, like I said, it generates these lines, an array of lines between the 2 points, and renders them as objects. So to place this node, we've got an output. And like I said, I put it into a transform because on our ribbon node, we do not have a transform. However, we can transform our start location. So if we need to change where our Z location is, we can. For our start, we can also change the Z location for our end of our lines. And we can change the X, the Y, and the Z. So I'm going to go ahead and extend these out so it covers the whole footage. And additionally, down here, we have all the same settings that we do for all of our other render nodes for the visibility, the lighting, the matte, blend mode, our normals, and our object ID. Within the controls for our ribbon, we have the number of lines that we want. So we can increase it or decrease it. We can change the line thickness, make them thinner or thicker. And if you need to go beyond, you can type in to make them even larger. And you can change the amount of subdivisions on those lines. And you can change the ribbon width. And this is going to change the overall width of that little ribbon object. So it's changing that overall width. And additionally, you can change the ribbon rotation. And it's only on one axis. Now your joint style and miter limit I will show here in a second. Now under material, you can change your color of your lines to whatever color you want. And you have the additional specular transmittance and material ID that we have on all other nodes. And additionally, the ribbon node itself has this input that we can use to import materials. So if we want to import, say, some media, and we can place that on our ribbon, and now that is our little material we got. So let's disconnect that. Now, in addition just to making lines, we can also add additional nodes to affect this ribbon, because this ribbon is kind of looking for normals that are coming into it to generate these lines. So if we say add a fast noise, and let's bring in a displace 3D node that we went over. We can input this in after our transform, and we can use this fast noise to generate some noise on that displace 3D. So now you can come into your noise and change your detail up, change your contrast a little bit. You can change your brightness, and we can change our scale, and we can also change our seethe. So we could, if we wanted to, animate this. So let's go back to the beginning, and we're going to keyframe that, go to the end, and just make this 10. So now we've got our lines being displaced by that seethe rate. And we can come into our displace, and we can change the scale up. And let's go ahead and bring this backwards a little bit. So it's popping out of our little thing there. And there you go. We've got some weird effect going on using the displace node. And remember, on our displace node, we can always bring in some random footage and use it to displace and make some cool little graphic effects using our ribbon 3D node. And it really doesn't matter what you're bringing in as long as you change your luma to your displace. So we could bring in, say, this footage and put it into our displace. Now we've got that going on. And you could even bring in actual footage if you want, and use that. And it's not going to be super precise, even if we change up the number of lines. And we can input our footage into our shapes texture and see what's going on there. And you can even input this footage into your ribbon texture so you have the same colors. And there you go. You got some weird ribbon effect going on your footage using the ribbon 3D node. So let's go ahead and delete this, and we're going to input our fast noise back in. And under our ribbon node, I mentioned these joint styles and your miter limits. And your joint styles will just change the style of those sharp edges and sharp joints. And your miter limit will allow you to change your miter limits on them. And you can always stack additional nodes. So if we bring our little footage back in, we can add, say, a bender 3D node and put that in. And we can bend our shapes. You can taper them. You can twist them. And shear them if you want. So that is the ribbon 3D node. Have fun playing with it, and just remember your render settings for software or hardware render to make sure that's showing up correctly. And I will see you in the next node breakdown.